Welcome to today's Minecraft hacking tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how you can use Python to create your very own coded rainbow in the Minecraft world. There we go. Now, you can do this, as always, you can do this using Python on the Raspberry Pi, and that's completely free. Or you can do it on the PC version, in which case, again, it's free, apart from you have to pay for Minecraft. And you're going to need, on the PC version, you're going to need the Raspberry Jam mod. There we go. Okay, so let's have a quick look around. Here you can see this is fully coded. I've not made it by hand. And all it's using is it's drawing a big circle, half of it's underground, and I've made it out of wool. So these are all wool blocks. If you're making this, there we go, let's just get out of the way. And if you're making this in the PC version, then you've got to install the mods, and then this is the directory that you need to go into, the app data, whatever your user is, roaming, Minecraft, and the MC PyPy folder. And what you need to do is you're going to need three things open. We're going to need some kind of code editor. On the Raspberry Pi, you're probably going to need something like LeafPad. That's usually where you just go start and then accessories text editor. Usually do it on LeafPad. There we go. And you're going to need the some kind of shell open. I've got the Windows PowerShell here, but you probably just use the LX terminal on the Raspberry Pi. And of course, you'll need your Minecraft screen open as well. I do it in this little setup here, so I can type all my commands on the big bit here, run the program here, and then test it here on the in the Minecraft world there. Okie dokie. So let's get started. First thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to import the MCPI. Import a few of the Minecraft modules. So mcpi.minecraft as Minecraft. This is pretty standard if you've watched one of the other tutorials that I've done. And we import block because we're going to need to add some blocks. Here we are. That's block. And all we're doing is getting the special modules that help us connect to the Minecraft world. We're going to need to import time. We might or might not use that. It's a good way of slowing things down so you can see what's happening. And we're also going to need to import the math block. We're going to need to import the math block because, just like in a lot of the previous tutorials, when we're making a big circle, we need to use a little bit of math. Don't worry, it's nothing too hard, just copy it. I just Googled it to find out what the math was, and after about 2 minutes I found what looked to be about right, tested it, and hey ho, it worked. So we'll show you that in a bit, don't worry. So there we go. So, and once we've done that there, let's just quit that. Create yourself a new world, single player, create it in creative mode so you don't keep getting killed like me. And let's call it Rainbow World. Rainbow World. Good. Brilliant. So the first thing we'll do here is we'll mc.post to chat Rainbow World. There we go. So the first thing we always do there is we do a bit of a post to chat. And the way we do that is to test to make sure we're connected to the Minecraft world. There we go. And let's call this Rainbow. I'll call it rainbow1.py. And make sure you save your file as a .py file. There we go. So rainbow1.py. Save it as a Python file. Excellent. And then here, over here, we just do Python space rainbow. 1.py, and hopefully, whoops, oh, that's because I've not done the connection. MC equals Minecraft. Notice that capital M on the middle, Minecraft.create. Yeah, before we can post to the chat, we need to create a server connection. That line of code says create me a server connection and call it MC. So it's just quick, so we don't have to type it out fully. Let's try that again. There we go, and it said Rainbow World. Perfect. So now we know that it's going to be able to create a rainbow world. So how are we going to create our rainbow? Well, in order to create the rainbow, we're going to need to use some wool blocks. Minecraft has, or at least the Raspberry Pi version of Minecraft, has 16 colours of wool. So we're going to need to use some of those. And let's have a look at those. Let's have a look at those 16 colours. So if you do for I in range 16, so we're going to go through 16 numbers. This is just a testing to show you what's going to happen. And let's do mc.set block. There we go. Now set block puts a block in the Minecraft world. And what are we going to do? Well, we need to specify the X, the Y, and the Z coordinates. Now, we don't know where we are. And what I want to do, that's what I'm going to do in a second, is I'm going to draw some wool blocks above my head. But in order to do that, I'm going to need to find out where I am. And the easiest way to do that is we do pause equals mc dot player dot get tile pause. There we go. That'll create a it will go and find out where the player is and create what's called a vector in the pos saved as called pos. And then what we can do here is the X coordinate is how far left and right you are in the Minecraft world, which we're going to have to do, go to the get our position, so our saved position from pos, and we'll do pos.x, so that'll get our X position. The Y is how far up and down in the world, so we'll go and get our pos.y, that'll get our Y position, but we'll add 2. And the reason being is because we want it to appear above our head. If we did it exactly on where we are, it would put the, oops, there you go. It would actually put it exactly where I am, but I want it to appear above my head so it's easier to see. And the Z is how deep it is into the Minecraft world, how far in and out, forwards and backwards. So we'll just keep that as it is. And then what we do is we do block.wool.id. Now, in previous tutorials, we've not used the .id bit at the end, and it didn't make any difference. In this one, we have to use the .id because by doing so, it allows us to use the wool's ID. Now, each wool block has a different ID. So, for instance, we'll have a look in a minute. Like orange might be 5. I can't remember exactly what it is, but we're going to find out in a second. But rather than type out 10 times, like set a block wool ID 1, set a block wool ID 2, set a block wool ID 3, we can use this for I in range because that will print us out a range of numbers from 0 to 15. In fact, let me show you that. Let me go into Python now and let's just do for I in range 16 and then we'll just print I to show you what's actually happening. There you go. So that for loop there repeats 16 times, starting at 0 and ending at 15, which makes 16 times, and each time I changes by 1. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say, okay, go and put a block of wool each time round there, but the colour of the wool or the ID of that colour is going to be I. So the first time round this loop, it will do it as 0, whatever 0 is, like white I think 0 is, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3. But what we'll also do here is we'll do for the Z coordinate, we'll do Z plus I. And that means that what's going to happen is as it puts blocks into the world, then as you go each time it puts a block, it's going to move further deeper into the world, which means that the blocks won't go over the top of each other. So let's see if that works, because it might not. Let's exit out of Python. And let's do Python space rainbow1.py to test. Oh, there you go, perfect. So now what we've got is we've got all examples of all the blocks that you can do of wool in the Minecraft world. Let's just get rid of that. There you go. So you can see, yep, 0 is white, and then we go orange, and then magenta, cyan, or like a turquoise sort of colour. All those different blocks, and their ID 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. all the way through. There you go. Perfect. Good. So those are all the wool blocks that we can use. Now we need to find out what the ones are for a rainbow, which is good. And a rainbow is, let's have a look, Richard of York gained battle blue, indigo in thing, violet. There you go. So those are the colours that we're going to need to find, and let's just define a list and call it rainbow. And our rainbow equals the colours. I've done this earlier, so you don't have to. The IDs are 14, 1, 4, 13, 11, 10, 2. And then let's just close the brackets. Let's just check that. So 14, which should be red. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There you go, yeah. So 14 is red, 1 is orange. Yep, there you go. And as you can see, you can take my word for it. If you don't believe me, try it yourself. So those are the colours of the rainbow. Good, brilliant, excellent. Now we don't need this little. Oh, what's that just gone now? Ah, there we go. We don't need this bit of code now. We no longer need that, so we'll get rid of that because that was just there. In fact, we'll hash it out just in case you might want to test something later on. So we don't need that any now. All we need to do now is we need to start creating our rainbow. Well, how does that work? Well, if you want to create a full circle like that, a big circle all the way around, which is what our rainbow is. It's actually a full circle, a rainbow, but you can only see half of it because it starts on the horizon and it goes up. Unless you're in an aeroplane, and apparently you can see a full rainbow. But what you need to do to create a rainbow is you need to do a circle, and you just need to do lots of x and y coordinates, one for each of the 360 points on the circle. So 360 times we need to work out what position it needs to be in the circle, the coordinates, and then go put a block there. Sort of. We also need to do for each, if you imagine the circle is like here, we actually need to come back in on the radius because we need to do red and then come back in on the radius a little bit and do orange, come back one block and do yellow, green, etc, etc. But you'll see that in a second. So how do we do each point on the circle? Well, we just use a bit of maths. And what we say here is we go, okay, so let's have a look, for each angle in the range 360, because we're going to do it 360 times, what we do here is we do the x position of the bit we're going to draw. There we go. X position equals, let's have a look, our position x plus our radius multiplied, and this is where we need that math module, math.cos. This is going to find our x position, the angle we're at the moment, multiplied by math.pi divided by 180. That sounds pretty complicated, but it's not. Basically, this bit here is because this calculation, this math calculation here, requires something called radians, which is slightly different to degrees of a circle where we use normal degrees. So we've got to use a bit of math there to change it over. And it just finds out where to draw on the x coordinate using the cosine. And then we do the same thing here, pos.y plus radius minus math.cos. Oh, this time it's not cos, it's sine times math.pi divided by 180. There we go. And then, so we found out for each of those angles out of the 360 angles in a circle, we find out where the x-coordinate of that angle is, where it's going to be the point of the circle, where the y-coordinate is, and then once we've got the x and the y, all we need to do is set a block. So we do mc.set block brackets our x, our y, our position z this time, so it's going to draw it above the player, and then block.wall.id, and then we'll do I'll do a 0 for the moment. Let's do a 0. We're going to use this rainbow list in a second. We're going to go through that rainbow list, but let me just show it with one piece of wool so you can see it all the way around. Let's try that. Let's see if that works. Oops, radius is not defined. Oh, that's the radius of the circle. Radius equals, well, I'll do 30 to start off. Let's do a small radius. Yeah, radius equals 30. The advantage of doing radius here, rather than putting the radius directly in, which is there, is that you can then change your radius anytime you want by changing that variable, and then when you run the code, it makes it a lot easier to change it. There you go. So if you look now, what we've got is it's drawn using a block of wool 0, which is white, or it looks grey really, and it's drawn the circle, which is good. So it's got the half circle. You can see how your rainbow is going to start to look, but all we need to do now is we need to change it so that it doesn't just do the outer bit of the circle, which is going to be in 14, which is going to be red. It then needs to go in a little bit and do it 1, in a bit more, 4, in a little bit and do 13, 11, 10 and 2. Now what you could do is, you could, if you wanted here, just redo these 3 lines of code, but each time, so you could copy and paste it here, and you could change that to radius -1, because this way you only go inside on the radius a little bit, so you make it small. It's basically you're trying to find the coordinates of a slightly smaller circle, because really, if you think about it, it's all kind of concentric circles that get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. You could do that and then change it to block dot, whatever the next block would be, like 1 or something, so that would be 14 and 1. You could do that quite a few times and that would be quite quick. You could cut and paste, which would do it. But we're not going to do that. What we're going to do instead is we're going to use a nested loop. So whereas we've got the for loop, the outer for loop, that gives us the 360 degrees and goes through each of them, what we're going to do now is we'll say, okay, for index in range, there we go, or index, let's just do for I in range, for I in range, and here's a clever bit, go get the length of the list, the rainbow list, rainbow. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do another number. So this one goes 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 360. This inner loop with I just goes from 0 to the length of the rainbow. So there's rainbow. The length of it is 7. So the first time around I would be 0 and then 1, blah, 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 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 6. So how does this work? Well, what we do now is we say, okay, each time round, we go and we do this 7 times, going through the length of the rainbow list. And what we do now is we do radius minus the index. And here we'll do radius minus index, which is good. So therefore, each time round, the first time the index is 0, so radius minus 0 is just radius. So it will draw the first circle exactly there. The second time on this inner for loop, it will do radius, the index will be 1, so I will be 1. What am I doing index? So I will be 1, so therefore radius minus 1 will be 29. So then it will do a slightly smaller circle. And then the next time round, I will be 2, so radius minus 2 will be 28. And it will draw even smaller, 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 keep going round. But what we also do is here, the clever thing here now is instead of hard coding 14, which refers to the item, the first item, what we do instead is we put rainbow, because we're going to go talk about the rainbow list, and we say go getters rainbow item I. And of course, I changes each time, because the first time I is 0, then you go around the loop again, then it's 1, then it's 2, then it's 3, etc., etc. So now, hopefully, let's just do time.sleep. I'll put a little time.sleep so you can see this happening each time round. In fact, but I won't do it each bit of the rainbow. Or will I? Yeah, why not? I'll do that. Let's see what that happens. Let's do it 0.1. Let's see if you can watch it happening. So now, if we run it, it should do the whole rainbow if I've coded it right. Rainbow world. There we go, and that appears to be doing it. It's probably started all the way underneath, so it might take a little bit while because it's taking 0.7 of a second for each individual one, which means it might take about 15 seconds. Or will it? Or it's broken. Let's find out. Let's give it a little while. Oops. Oh, it looks like it's tried to do it here. And it's gone slightly wrong. Oops. Yeah, that's gone crazy wrong. Let's have a quick look. Oh, I know what I've done wrong. Hang on a minute. It needs to be... My math was slightly wrong there. It's got to be like that. You need the brackets around radius minus I. I think that's what's happened there. Let's just kill that. Control C to kill that. Let's run it again. But what I'll do this time is I'll just take that time.sleep out, because otherwise it's going to take me ages to work out what's going wrong if I've done it wrong again. Run it again, and now hopefully that's looking a bit more like it, isn't it? There you go. So there's my rainbow done. I made a slight error there. Oh, okay. What I've done now is, because I was up in the sky, it's actually drawn my rainbow up in the sky, which is what I told it to do. We don't really want that. The Y coordinate here in the center of the rainbow, we don't want it to be the player's Y coordinate. We don't want it to be wherever I'm up, because I'm up in the sky. We don't want to draw a big circular rainbow. Let's just set that to 0 so that it'll always do it from the ground. It'll always have the center of the circle at 0, which should be the ground. So now let's try, let's walk over here a bit so we've got a bit more space. There we go. As you can see, it is trial and error, and I do make a few mistakes. Here we go. And now it should, there you go, draw a rainbow from the ground. Let's have a look. Yep, perfect. And if you want to see here, now let's just do that one more time, but we'll do a time.sleep 0.1, 0.2. There you go. Let's save that. Let's move right over this way so you can see, just show you what's really going on, and you can be able to see each time how it draws each part of the circle. Let's just move right out of the way. Here we go. Come over here, Python space rainbow 1.py, and now, there you go. So you can see exactly what's happening now. Each time round, it's literally calculating each exact coordinate for each part of the rainbow, and it just builds it up block by block. It starts on the outside, and then it works its way back into the center of the rainbow. That's going to take a little while to finish. There we go. But you can see the general idea. There you go. I'll just put all that code there you go on full screen so you can see it in case you need it on the end. I'll make it a bit bigger actually as well. So it's nice and useful to just put that there. Oops. There's the code on full screen. And so there's all the code. Have a play around with it. Good luck as always. If you like the video, subscribe to my channel so I can add some more videos so you can see all the videos that I've got. And if you've got any questions, just pop them in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Thank you very much.